is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put 2 dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Tamir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coons. The white man that go nuts if he can't shoot. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, even to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They're trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations, I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
I'm getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyyah.
oppression and exploitation.
Queen.
Touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations. America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all in Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat.
This is the sound of Eric Malcolm.
It's a cut on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans, and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans, and I got
difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life, but sometimes you gotta do that. I was fucked up.
He's all right.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show, or I'm sorry, the Queen Ahmadiyyah TV show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your Daily Vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done so already, be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right? So the guy in the pink pants was clearly getting it, right? All right, everyone, please get those likes up. Please like and share. And don't forget to double check and make sure you're still subscribed, especially if you have not been receiving those notifications. Okay, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dr._A_Shakur, TikTok at Dr.A_Shakur, and Twitter at DGoddess27. And as per usual, if you don't like what the Queen is cooking, why are you here? I have questions, is all I'm saying. Okay, so let's see who is in here. All right, Locked Queen Candy J. Hey, beloved. Khalid Harleen, Juju B said Queen is queening. Thank you. T. Randall, Maya. All right, Claudette, Lillian X. All right, Anita Harrell is in here. Let's get into it. April, DJ Big Six, Soldier M. All right, Dorana is in his house. Queen Amoni Huey. All right, so let's get this party started. Everyone, please get those likes up. We have 128 people in the chat, 131. Now, let's make the likes match the people, okay? Let's get it popping. Okay, so y'all, hey, Shelby, Overthoughts. Danielle is here. All right, so listen. Thank you, Overthoughts. You like my earrings? Thank you. The lovely T is in the house. All right. So anyway, you all heard the sad news about Hunter Biden. Poor little Hunter. I couldn't even keep a straight face, as you can see. Poor little old Hunter. Guilty on 3 counts. Queen Sam said, I check ScrewTube every 30 minutes to make sure I didn't miss the Queen. Thank you, beloved. That's a darn shame you have to go through all of that because they don't want to send out those notifications sometimes, right? At least not on time. Okay, so let's talk about it. Hunter Biden trial highlights. President's son found guilty on all charges in federal gun case. The jury deliberated only 3 hours on Monday afternoon and Tuesday morning before reaching the verdict. Okay, so here's the thing. When the defendant or when the jury is deliberating and they're done quickly, that's usually bad for the defendant, okay? When they deliberate quickly and it just takes, 2 or 3 hours, you know you're guilty is all I'm saying. You know that they found you guilty because when there's a question, when they can't really decide, when they're still trying to weigh the evidence that they've seen before them, they tend to take a little bit longer. Okay, but when they get done real quick, that means they all have come to the conclusion that you were guilty and that they were already thinking that. All right? All right, Queen Sam said, I check all channels too. Thank you, beloved. Okay, Claudette said true. All right, so let's get it popping. Queen Sam says, I think he was in the bathroom and ran out with something white under his nose when they said the verdict was in. Oh, honey, he probably did. He had to go get him a little
Go get him a little toot. All right. T. Ronda said P. Diddy and Hunter Biden be wanting to party, but you gotta tell them no. Okay, I know that's right. So let's get into it. So, and here's the thing. I noticed that they said that Jill Biden's presence didn't affect what was going on in the courtroom. Let me see where that is. Yeah, a jury tells Fox News that Jill Biden's presence in the courtroom didn't affect proceedings. Juror number 10 told Fox News in an interview that he was nervous when it came time to deliberate, but that in the end, it helped to focus on just why the president's son was on trial. I think he's just like anybody else. Nobody's above the law, no matter who you are. Absolutely. Okay? Absolutely. Now, Jill Biden may have been in the courtroom as a distraction to, in fact, make the people, be affected, make them a little nervous. All right? I'm just saying, the first lady sitting up in the courtroom, some people, may have been nervous, anxious, or whatever. And so that's likely why that all went down. So let's get into it. Queen, is he really going to jail? No, here's the thing. Well, he may go to jail, but here's the thing. If Biden wins the presidency, which I don't intend for him to, and I don't think that he will, but if he does, he'll pardon him. He'll pardon his son. That's what he'll do. Please pay attention. That's exactly what he'll do. But we don't want Biden to win because we want Dr. Shiva to win. Please pay attention. And I have some very nefarious news about another presidential candidate. In fact, two of these presidential candidates, which I will be exposing very soon. Very soon, beloveds. All right? So with that all being said, let me put an overlay up here so I don't have any problems with ScrewTube. Y'all know how they hate on the queen. Pay attention.
We're coming on the air with breaking news about President Biden's son, Hunter, with a verdict apparently reached in his federal criminal trial. We're moments away from learning what that verdict will be. No cameras are allowed in this federal court, but we have reporters inside who will tell us the results any moment now. The president's son pleaded not guilty to 3 charges tied to the possession of a gun while using drugs, along with how he got it over the last a week or so. The jury heard testimony about Hunter's drug use, including from his former girlfriend and brother's widow, Hallie Biden, who recalled throwing the gun at the center of Hunter's case in a trash can in a grocery store near the Hunter Biden's home. He is the president's only surviving son and the first adult child of a sitting U.S. president to face criminal charges. The president has already said he would not pardon his son if he is convicted. I want to go to Laura Jarrett right now as we await the verdict. Laura, this was a pretty straightforward case lasting only 7 days.
That's right, Lester. And the jury only deliberating really roughly 3 hours, just 1 hour yesterday and just a couple hours this morning. We're standing by for our reporters at the courthouse. I believe we do have a verdict from Ryan Nobles there at the courthouse, Lester.
Yeah, let's go to Ryan right now.
Now, the jury here is comprised of
Yeah, that's right, Lester and Laura. We just received this verdict from our reporters inside the courtroom. On count 1, the verdict is guilty. On count 2, the verdict in the Hunter Biden criminal case is guilty. And on count 3, the verdict is guilty. So on all 3 counts, Hunter Biden, the president's son, is found guilty after about 3 hours of deliberation by this jury. He is the first child of a sitting United States president to be found guilty in a criminal case. This probably does not come as a surprise given the length of time that the jury was deliberating and the volume of evidence that these jurors heard, over 6 days worth of testimony. But the verdict here in Wilmington, Delaware, is Hunter Biden found guilty on all 3 counts in this federal criminal trial. Lester.
And Ryan, I'm going to want to walk through those counts with you in a moment, but I think the question on a lot of minds right now hearing this verdict, what is the potential sentence at stake here?
So over the course of all 3 of these different charges, there are different maximum sentences that Hunter Biden could be sentenced to. In 2 of the charges, there is a maximum sentence of 10 years. In one of the other charges, it is a maximum sentence of 5 years. It is unlikely that he will get the maximum sentence on these 3 counts. The judge will have some discretion in terms of sentencing, and it is very likely that he will receive a much reduced sentence given the fact that he is a first-time offender. It's unclear just how long that sentence may be, or if there's even the possibility that there will be jail time at all. That is certainly under the discretion of the judge. But there are 3 separate counts here. They each have 3 different maximum sentences, 2 of them 10 years, 1 of them 5 years. There's also a question of whether or not they would be served consecutively or concurrently. But the chances that he would serve more than a decade in prison are very unlikely. The judge will have that discretion. And given the fact that he is a first-time offender, that's something that we are still waiting to learn exactly how long he may face in jail, if he faces any time at all.
We've heard some people talking recently saying Detroit is.
They say he's a first-time offender. Yeah. I beg to differ. Okay. First time he got caught. That's all I'm saying. Okay. He's been doing crack. Then he's clearly offended before. Please pay attention. Okay. Now let's go to what Biden had to say. Now they have a special report, and they say Biden reacts to his son Hunter's guilty verdict in gun case, vowing to respect the judicial process. Don't let him fool you. He's talking about vowing to respect the judicial process. He probably has already pulled in his, Jamal said the Coca-Cola fell out of his pockets. Okay. Remember that time they found some in the White House and tried to pretend they didn't know whose it was? We already knew whose it belonged to. Okay. They were going on a family vacation too. Of course he had to take him a little something with him. Now I'm going to fast forward this at some point because it's like 26 minutes.
This is a CBS News special report. I'm Nora O'Donnell in Washington, and we are coming on the air with breaking news from the federal gun trial of Hunter Biden, the first child of a sitting U.S. president to face criminal charges. We have just learned that the jury of 6 men and 6 women have reached a verdict after deliberating for roughly 3 hours over 2 days. We have learned that he has been found guilty on all 3 counts. Hunter Biden was charged with 2 felony counts for lying.
Let me say this. If he doesn't get any jail time, no sort of consequences, then that will just let us all know that this whole trial, this whole fiasco was nothing but a ruse. Why would you waste taxpayers' money if you're not going to give him consequences after he's found guilty? Okay, please make that make sense. So he's just being found guilty just to say that he was found guilty. If he doesn't go to jail, get any sort of prison time or any sort of consequences for this, then what was the point? Okay, that's what we need to be asking. What was the point? But let's continue.
On a form required to purchase a firearm in 2018. Then there was a 3rd charge, also a felony for being in possession of a firearm while abusing or being addicted to drugs. Our congressional correspondent, Scott McFarland, is outside the courthouse in Delaware. He has been following this case from the beginning with news on this verdict. Scott?
Nora, it didn't take this jury long. 1 hour of deliberation yesterday, 2 hours this morning. They come back guilty on all 3 counts for the president's son, which raises the prospect the president's son, Hunter, could face a prison sentence when this case goes to sentencing, likely later this year. The 3 charges all involved a gun he bought in October 2018, a gun the feds say he bought knowing he was a drug user, knowing he was addicted to drugs and therefore illegally, and for filing a false statement on the background check form when he didn't mark that he was a drug user or drug addict. The defense in this case, especially in closing arguments yesterday, tried to hinge its arguments that Hunter Biden may have been in recovery or getting sober in October 2018 and therefore didn't knowingly violate the law.
Oh, please.
The argument did not sway the 6-man, 6-woman jury from Wilmington, Delaware. And it's noteworthy, as Hunter Biden walked back in the courtroom a few moments ago, this day has been a singular day for Hunter Biden.
I want you to pay attention to how they try to just make all kind of asinine excuses. He may have been recovering. He may have been, in treatment or whatever, and he didn't know. Of course he knew, okay? If they ask you, have you ever done illegal drugs? And then you know the answer is yes. Do you see the kind of BS? And then here's the thing. Was Was he ever in recovery? At the end of the day, they just found a bag in the White House. That's all I'm saying, okay? Last year sometime, I do believe it was. So clearly, he's not in any type of recovery, as far as I'm concerned. But let me continue.
In previous days, his whole family was here. The First Lady was here. His father, the president's sister, was here. Today, it's Hunter Biden in the courtroom learning his fate at the defense table with his attorney, Abby Lowe.
And Scott, let's talk about what Hunter Biden faces now. This is him walking in with his wife earlier today. My understanding is that each of the three counts has a maximum fine of $250,000 and that Biden faces up to 25 years in prison. But it's also my understanding that first-time offenders don't get anywhere near that. What do we know?
Yeah, the federal sentencing guidelines are going to be calibrated between now and the sentencing date. We're waiting to learn the sentencing date. We could find it out in a few moments. Could be early to mid-fall of this year. Federal sentencing guidelines will likely be calibrated to account for Hunter Biden having no criminal record, for having no federal felonies in his past, for a case that often gets pleaded out and doesn't go to trial. There'll be arguments by the defense and by the Department of Justice's special counsel as to what's an appropriate prison sentence. Then the same judge who heard this trial, Mary Ellen Noreika, a Trump appointee to the bench, will determine his fate at sentencing. But yeah, this is a federal firearms felony. It carries the risk or the prospect of prison time for the president's son at the end of what was the first ever criminal trial of a sitting president's child.
Scott McFarland, thank you. I want to bring in Major Garrett, our chief Washington correspondent. And Major, there's been a lot of focus on Hunter, tax evasion charges, and this in particular, now guilty on all three counts.
So, Nora, the last month in our country has been a conversation about application of justice. How high does it go? Can the high be brought low by the application of the law? And juries have decided that in not one but two cases, both unprecedented in our history. A former president being indicted,
Donald Trump,
convicted by a jury, and now the son of a president. And this question, is justice applied fairly? Is there political motives? Well, the White House and Democrats would argue, well, if you think that there is some sort of prosecutorial misconduct with Trump, look, the president's own son is in a federal courthouse, has now been found guilty by a jury of his peers. The broader application of this whole question will course through the presidential campaign. What is justice? How is it being applied? And is it being done in a way that is overtly political?
Mm-hmm.
Both sides will argue that, but now the country will see a former president and a sitting president's son both facing either probation or some kind of reckoning with the law.
From cases that really, or from alleged wrongdoing that dates back in this case with Hunter Biden to 2018. Also want to bring in Jan Crawford, our chief legal correspondent. What about that? That people have made the case that the law has been applied unequally to Donald Trump. And here the president's son convicted in Delaware, a state that knows the Bidens quite well, Democratic state.
Well, I mean, I think there are a couple parallels in both cases. They were both unusual prosecutions. In both cases, standalone charges, whether it was the business records hinging on this election law charge for former President Trump in New York, or here, a standalone charge owning and getting a gun if you're a drug addict without any other crimes bringing in here, whether it's a crime of violence with that gun. That's really unusual. I mean, those cases are very rarely prosecuted.
I just want you all to pay attention. This just goes to prove how ghetto America is, okay? How ghetto America is. Now, you have a former president convicted on 34 felonious charges, and then you have a sitting president's own son convicted on 3 federal charges. This is also ghetto, all right? Did anyone notice that? But they like to make stereotypical comments about criminality as it pertains to people who look like me. Please pay attention.
As Major and Scott already have pointed out. So we have 2 cases with somewhat unusual prosecutions. We have 2 guilty verdicts, and now we're going to see 2 different types of appeals. And I think, Hunter Biden has some decent arguments on appeal. What's interesting is that he's going to find a greater reception with some of those judges on the appeals courts who were appointed by former President Trump. They have been much more sympathetic to arguments that some of these gun laws, like a felon or a drug addict being in possession of a gun, may violate the Second Amendment. He will.
Let me tell you something. That's a load of BS. They don't give a damn about the federal gun laws violating Second Amendments. No, they don't. Okay, they don't care anything about that. At the end of the day, they'll say they care about it now, so Hunter doesn't have to get consequences for his nefarious actions. If they really cared so much about it, then why do they still stand? Okay, why is it that people can become felons, right, and then they can't carry their guns? They don't care anything about that. Let me just tell y'all right quick. They're just sitting up here trying to make asinine excuses for Hunter Biden, okay? The bottom line is he lied on the application, all right? That's the bottom line.
Will make that argument eventually after he goes through some of his state court appeals.
It's interesting to note,
his
Nora,
trial.
real quickly, that in a different era, both President Trump and Hunter Biden thought they were in the clear. Hunter Biden thought his attorneys had adjudicated this case and was all going to be handled.
Right.
And then this judge looked at it and said, no, I think this needs a closer look. There were times that other prosecutors looked at the Trump case and said, we're not going to carry that forward. And former President Trump thought, I'm in the clear. In both instances, people who are now rendered guilty thought they were in the clear, and they found out they were not.
I want to bring in CBS's Erica Brown because she has just come out of that courtroom where she witnessed Hunter Biden being read that verdict. And Erica, I know you've been in the courtroom for much of this trial. Tell us what you saw today.
Yeah, so as the jury filed into that courtroom, Hunter Biden, he stood up. He had his hands crossed in front of him. And then the courtroom deputy actually delivered the verdict. We didn't hear it from the foreperson or another member of the jury. So as that verdict was actually read by the courtroom deputy, Hunter Biden stayed seated with his attorneys next to him. He was looking directly at the courtroom deputy. He distributed very little emotion. We didn't notice anything major, just watching as each guilty their verdict came down. And then after the verdict was delivered, he touched both of his attorneys, hugged them. His wife behind him, after it was over, he hugged them. He hugged her, embraced her. So during this process, he exhibited very little emotion. For the most part, he was just paying attention, and then afterward, reaching over to both of his attorneys, Abby Lowell, David Kalansky, thanking them.
Erica Brown, thank you for that. I want to bring in Robert Costa, our chief campaign and election correspondent. And Robert, we've been through many unprecedented times with not only Joe Biden and Donald Trump, but now this presents a significant step for Hunter Biden in his recovery, as well as the president's reelection.
That's exactly right, Nora. Throughout American history, we've seen presidential family members run into trouble, whether it's Billy Carter or Roger Clinton. What makes the Hunter Biden situation and this conviction so different, based on my conversations with those very close to President Biden, is that Hunter is so close to the president. You think about the history they've shared together going back to late 1972, when Hunter's mother, Joe Biden's first wife, killed in a car accident, bonded Beau and Hunter to their father.
Is this supposed to be a sob story he's trying to tell us to get our empathies and sympathies? Of course he's close to his father. Aren't most people? Then bringing up the mother died in that crash. Did Biden have anything to do with that lady dying? Because I've always had questions. Please pay attention.
At that moment, closer than ever. And he has remained so close to the president while the President Biden has been in the White House, a fixture often inside the residence at the White House, on vacations, on flights with the president. And so when I talk to people close to Biden, they say this is a legal proceeding, but it's also a personal proceeding, that the president feels a lot of pain about the reckoning his son has dealt with addiction issues over the years. And he wants to be there for his son, even as he runs for re-election, deals with former President Trump and all of the issues throughout the world. People who know Biden say you really can't talk about how much Hunter's on the mind of the president every day.
If you know President Biden, he calls his children and his grandchildren every single day. He is a family man who stays very close with his kids. Let me ask you, though, Robert, recently President Biden gave an interview where he said he wouldn't
immediately what they call stepped back.
That Robert was talking about earlier. So she is for the prosecution.
Oh, where to begin? The prosecution had a mountain of all sorts. This is his
Tom, thank you.
Yes, that's right, Nora. He is here at the White House, but he is actually expected to speak later today on the topic of gun violence and what the administration has done to try to curb gun violence as well. He has not made any public statements about this news of the verdict. We have not heard from the White House or the Biden campaign. But I do want to remind our audience of statements that he has made in the past that give a window into his worldview on this case and the American justice system. Remember, on the day that the trial began, Biden issued a statement saying, "I am the president, but I am also a dad. As president, I don't and I won't comment on pending federal cases, but as a dad, I have boundless love for my son, confidence in him, and respect for his strength." As you also mentioned earlier, he had ruled out a pardon for his son in an interview last week. And when the Trump conviction came down, those 34 counts in the criminal case in New York, Biden also gave a statement saying that this is how the American justice system works. He said it's reckless, it's dangerous, and it's irresponsible for anyone to say this was rigged because they don't like the verdict. He also said that the American justice system is literally the cornerstone of democracy. It should be respected, and we should never let anyone tear it down. So as we await for his comments on this particular verdict, we have his comments about the verdict of his political rival and the American justice system.
All right, Caitlin Huey-Burns.
Okay, so this is clearly clickbait. I want you all to pay attention because y'all see that? It says Biden reacts to his son Hunter's guilty verdict in gun case, vowing to respect the judicial process. Okay, so I'm sorry. Didn't she just say that he didn't say anything as of yet? The lies. Let me fast forward.
The First Lady watched play out. It was Hunter Biden's brother's widow testifying about his drug use, a woman with whom he had a romantic relationship. His ex-wife, his own daughter, describing, Nora, his descent into drug addiction and all the family relationships that broke apart along the way.
Yeah, Scott and Erica, you were inside the courtroom for much of that. What was it like?
Well, I will tell you, Nora, most people in the gallery were focused on that very first row behind Hunter Biden, looking at First Lady Jill Biden, looking at members of the Biden family to see how they would react to some of the evidence that the prosecution put forth. A lot of it, the prosecution acknowledged, was very personal, very ugly, very overwhelming, but in their own words, absolutely necessary to prove that Hunter Biden was a user of drugs and an addict during this period in which he purchased and kept that firearm for 11 days. And so you could hear a pin drop in certain instances when prosecution presented evidence, especially when we heard Hunter Biden's own voice, when he read those excerpts from his book chronicling his drug use over a period of 4 years. And so people were attentive.
Seen him in Delaware. He always says the
is part of the American family. That's the way it works. This is a tragedy for the Biden family, precipitated in large measure by the death of Beau Biden. For 8 years, the Attorney General of Delaware. Not the favorite.
Excuse me. I want you all to pay attention. Now they want to bring up Beau Biden, who's dead, okay, died from brain cancer. And then they want to bring up Biden's first wife, who also is deceased. I mean, they're just trying to get empathy and sympathy. Okay, I want you all to pay attention. Nobody feels sorry for Hunter Biden. I don't care who died. Okay? At the end of the day, yeah, it's all sad when somebody dies, but nobody's feeling sorry for him right now. This lady said he was doing crack every 20 minutes. He was using crack every 20 minutes. Okay? Let that sink in. And then Biden had the nerve to argue that crime bill and criminalize people who look like me for being addicted to it. Something that the CIA allegedly put in our neighborhoods. Okay, I just want you all to pay attention. And so no sympathies here. Sorry. None whatsoever. So now let's get into this next story because y'all know these children are so bad these days and so disrespectful. And this little teenager whose grandmother reported him missing, mind you. He did a diss song about his poor grandmother who was concerned about him. Okay, I find it also nefarious. Drops a diss song on his grandmother. So let's talk about it. He actually ran away. And I'm sure out of concern and an abundance of caution, she reported him missing. This little devil, what does he do to show his appreciation? He drops a diss song. Okay, so we're going to listen to it. We're going to listen to it. He's 15 years old, mind you. 15-year-old releases violent diss song against grandma who reported him missing. Okay, so goes on to say that last week, the Columbus, Georgia Police Department put out a missing persons report for Tyron Giles after his grandmother said that he had been missing for a couple of days. Fortunately, he was found safe, but he had quite the choice of words for his grandmother. Now, rather than say thank you for helping or trying to help her bring the groceries in or anything, Tyron decided to drop a diss track against her, and the vulgarity of it was absolutely absurd. Okay, so I want you all to hear this. And so he went on and criticized the grandmother for finding him. And who said our education system is letting our children down? Here we have a 15-year-old openly rapping that he's going to shoot his grandmother in the chest if she calls the police on him again. While in another verse, he claims that he's going to stab her with a switch knife. This whole crazy on God. Those are some of the words that he said. Now I want you all to hear this because it's absolutely deplorable. Absolutely deplorable. Oh, so sad. Hold on, beloved. This is all sad, including nefarious.
Living like this whole capping or not missing, let you know. This whole crazy. On God, this little whole trippin'. Talking about that I'm missing, I ain't missing. I'm just standing on being. You talking about you gon' get me? Nah, little hoe, you just trippin'. Don't forget on your grandson, don't make me come through with those switches. On God, ho, why you done lie to the whole net? Talking about I'm missing, I ain't missing. I'm just living my best. I don't wanna come back home to granny, she know what up next. She keep on talking, I send shots straight through her chest. Fuck granny, I'ma keep on this. Fuck granny, I'ma keep on this. Fuck granny, I'ma keep on this.
This is just absolutely sad and deplorable, okay? I mean, and the thing is, his grandmother doesn't have to raise him. She doesn't have to raise him or do anything for him, and that's the thanks that she gets for her hard work. He wouldn't stay in my house another day. Not another day. Okay, and all of those things that he was saying, telling her about doing harm to her and all of that, because she was concerned about his safety and well-being. See, that's what's wrong with a lot of these teenagers these days. They have no respect for their elders. None whatsoever. They don't even have respect for themselves, quite frankly. If they did, they would try to do better. Okay, hey, black women, stand up. This is also egregious, okay? If I were her, honey, he couldn't stay with me anymore. I'm sorry. He'd have to go. He would have to go. So anyway, goes on to say that the 2-minute song has now gone viral because, of course, it did. In a statement to Tyron's uncle, the family said that Tyron has been living with his grandmother since 2012, since his mother is out of the picture and the father only provides some financial assistance. My mother, Tyron's grandmother, suffered a stroke in August of 2022. And although this young man has always been a challenge, he has really lost his mind since her stroke. He ran away after Easter because he wanted to be grown and have young girls sleeping over. And my mom was not having it. My mom is concerned for his safety because he is aligning himself with the wrong people and activities, but he is more concerned about getting internet clout by disrespecting his grandmother. This is what the uncle said. 15 years old now. He also addressed the dangers of kids wanting to go viral on social media and the overall decline of society, saying these kids are just out of order. It doesn't matter how well they are raised or provided for or whether the parents are present and actively involved. This is what the uncle says. They want to be grown and do what they want to do without fully understanding what being grown is really all about. He's out here just clout chasing. So please just ignore his antics. I never thought I would be on the internet having one of these conversations, but here we are. The Columbus Police Department has not publicly commented on the song. Hopefully, it just remains a song and Tyron doesn't have any future run-ins with the police. Absolutely egregious, okay? This is all so ghetto. This This is all so ghetto. Like I said, he couldn't stay with me any longer. And you know, I wonder if the challenges of raising him, because he's been in her home since 2012, so I wonder if the challenges of raising her had anything to do with her having a stroke. He could have been stressing her the hell out. Okay, please pay attention. He wouldn't be in my house, honey. I'm sorry. Not after that foolishness. So anyway, with that all been said, like up, everyone, please like and share. Now let's talk about this low down, dirty, nefarious woman who took the life of a 3-year-old and then laughed about it in court. So hold on, I'm going to pull this up because this is all so crazy. Here we go. I'm going to share my screen. Everyone, please get the lights up. Thank you in advance, beloveds.
Code section 2903.11A1 and or endangering children in violation of Ohio Revised Code section 2919.22B2. Code section 290.
So she thought that was funny? What did she think was so funny with her ugly self? With her ugly self sitting up there laughing, like, what's funny about that? But let's talk about it. That's absolutely sickening. Okay, woman accused of killing a 3-year-old laughs as charges are read to her. So the woman who's accused of killing a 3-year-old Ohio boy smiled and giggled in court on Monday. Bianca Ellis, age 32, is charged with killing Julian Wood and wounding his mother, Margot Wood. Ellis was arraigned Monday before Judge Nancy Margaret Russo. As Russo read the indictment against Ellis, the defendant bobbed and smiled. It's all so sad. That was not the only unusual behavior. Now, during a video hearing that preceded Ellis's appearance in court, Russo had to instruct Ellis to raise her head. And when she asked if she had read her indictment, she replied, "I don't know." Ellis was later brought into court where she said that she had not read her indictment. "I don't want to read it," she says. "You don't want to read it," the judge replied. When Ellis said she asked her public defender not to read her the indictment, the judge read it in open court, triggering smirks and giggles from Ellis. Pure evil, Bianca Ellis, woman accused of stabbing the 3-year-old. I wonder why she killed him. Now it says that she injured the mother. So was she trying to kill the mother and the child possibly got in the way, trying to protect the mother? I just wonder how it all went down. This is so sad. Now that day, 1 week ago, she took everything from us, they say. There's nothing that could ever replace my son or anything that my wife and I, even our kids, our other kids, are going through. It's horrendous. I really wish no bail, period. Or extend it to the max limit possible that you can, at the very least. Just do whatever you can to keep this monster behind bars. This is what the father of the child said, and I don't blame him. Now, Russo later set bond at $5 million. Ellis was indicted on 1 count of aggravated murder, 2 counts of murder, 2 counts of attempted murder, 2 counts of felonious assault, 1 count of endangering children, 1 count of tampering with evidence, and 1 count of misdemeanor theft. Now, the stabbing took place in the parking lot of a Giant Eagle store in North Olmsted. North Olmsted police said that Ellis is accused of stealing 2 knives from the Volunteers of America thrift store next to the Giant Eagle. Now, the victims were walking out of Giant Eagle when first Julian and then Margot were stabbed. The investigation into the motive of this attack is still ongoing. They don't even know why she did it. But everything learned thus far points that this was a random act of violence. This is what Sergeant Matt Beck said in a statement. Ellis and the victims had no prior interactions before this incident. Ellis is known to the North Olmsted Police Department for a prior offense of theft, but has no known violent criminal history. Wow, so she didn't even know these people. You know, I was at first thinking that maybe they were neighbors or something and something popped off or whatever, but this was a random act of violence. Now imagine leaving a store with your child or your grandchild and someone just attacks both of you out of nowhere. You see, this is why you have to be strapped. You see, this is why you have to have something to protect and defend yourself. And if you have a felony and you cannot carry a firearm, then I would suggest that you get something else, okay? Get you something else to protect and defend yourself, some pepper spray and a knife, okay? Get something. I don't care if you have to put a brick in your pocket. You better have something to defend yourself because it's a whole bunch of crazy people out here, okay? It's a whole bunch of crazy people out here at the end of the day. Sabrina said crazy and demonic. Absolutely. That is so sad. Handsome little boy, too. Condolences to his family and prayers for a speedy recovery for his mother. Just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, unfortunately. Now let's talk about this other no good woman. Because what she did, she tried to drown a boy because he got dirty knocking down plants while playing. Let's put her mug up on the screen. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. What is wrong with people out here doing all these wicked things to poor children who can't even defend themselves? That's her. That's her. So let's talk about it. Now, her name is Karina Mustafa, and she's accused of trying to drown her toddler son after he got dirty when he knocked over a potted plant at their Daytona Beach, Florida home. Okay, so she's behind bars for this attack on him. It says that she allegedly held the toddler's head underwater in the bathtub because she was upset about him dirtying himself when he knocked over the plants. It is only because the swift actions of the boy's father and first responders that he survived and is now in stable condition, according to Daytona police. This is what they said during a press conference. Now, cops responded to a near drowning around 12:45 p.m. on Friday at a home in the city. An arrest affidavit said the boy was playing in front of the home when he knocked over a potted plant, which covered him in dirt and muddy water. The boy's mother, 29-year-old Karina Mustafa, started arguing with the boy's father and said she would take the toddler to the middle of the street to get run over by a car. See, this is real sad. Now, this is a woman who wants to take out her vendetta against the father onto the child to hurt the father. That's what this all sounds like. Okay, and then says instead, she took the boy to the bathroom and locked the door, preventing the father from entering. According to the affidavit, she allegedly admitted to submerging the boy's face into the water. She eventually opened the door, and the boy's father went into the bathroom to find him unconscious. She tried to kill this child. I hope she gets everything come to her, dirty devil. And his father performed CPR, reviving the child. Mustafa allegedly did nothing to help. First responders arrived and rushed the boy to the hospital where he is in stable condition. Thank God for that. Okay, cops responded to the scene and found a small amount of dirt in front of the house. In an interview with detectives, Mustafa admitted to submerging the boy's face underwater after he knocked over the potted plant and soiled his pants. Mustafa allegedly changed her story and said that she slapped the boy after he pulled her fingers and damaged her nails. She claimed she held the boy down in the bathtub because he would not stay in the water. Mustafa then said she held the boy's head under the water for no more than 1 minute. It was longer than 1 minute. That's why he was unconscious. Lying devil. Now, she went on to say the boy is out of control and has several behavior problems. And she doesn't. She said she believed the boy was possessed by the Diablo, which is the Spanish word for devil. Okay, officers arrested Mustafa on aggravated child abuse, and she remains in the Volusia County Jail on a $100,000 bond. I hope she doesn't get out until she goes to trial. And I hope she doesn't get out there because she needs to be found guilty of attempted murder because that's exactly what it was. Oh, so sad. Clearly nefarious. Okay? Prayers for a speedy recovery for the beautiful little child. That's awful. That is absolutely awful. So lights up, everyone. Please like and share. Now, this next set of devils, let me put their mug shots on the screen because these murder suspects filmed themselves using excavator to bury barrel containing the man they killed with a hammer, according to the police. Just some thugs. Here they go. So 2 men and a woman have all been arrested and accused of killing a man in Texas, allegedly beating him to death with a hammer before then stuffing his body into a barrel and filming themselves while they used construction equipment to bury it. Jesus Grijalva Jr., age 43, Samuel Uval Sr., age 47, and Monica Gomez, age 41, had all been taken into custody last month and charged with murder in connection to the brutal slaying of Juan Carlos Hernandez de Leon, according to authorities. A fourth suspect, Roberto Salas, age 35, has been on the run for weeks and remains at large. Now, according to a news release from Hidalgo County Sheriff's Office, deputies on May the 13th were informed about a possible homicide that took place in San Juan, Texas. A witness told investigators that an adult male who had been reported missing earlier in the month, later identified as Hernandez de Leon, had been killed at a residence located in the 1900 block of Morningset Road. The residence is about 240 miles south of San Antonio. Additionally, the witness told investigators that the victim's body had been moved to another location in the area near the 4600 block of Wisconsin Road in Edinburgh, Texas, a few miles northwest from the site of the alleged murder. Initially, investigators said that they identified Grijalva Jr., Uval Sr., and Salas as being responsible for Hernandez de Leon's murder. However, through witness testimony and cell phone video obtained from one of the suspects, authorities said they also confirmed that Gomez took part in the killing and the burying of Hernandez de Leon. Now, according to a probable cause affidavit obtained by Brownsville NBC and CBS affiliate KVEO, witnesses told investigators that Uval Sr. at about 4 a.m. on May the 7th went to Grijalva Jr.'s home on Morningset Road and argued with Hernandez de Leon. Authorities said that at some point the argument escalated into a physical confrontation. Samuel Uval Sr. started to assault Juan Carlos Hernandez de Leon with a hammer, according to the affidavit. Now the Monitor. This is a report from the Monitor newspaper. They say that Roberto Salas and Jesus Grijalva Jr. joined Samuel Uval Sr. in the assault. Now, Jesus utilized a hammer tool to assault Juan Carlos Hernandez de Leon. Gomez reportedly also had a hand in the fatal beating of the victim. The three male suspects, that is, then allegedly stuffed Hernandez de Leon's body into a barrel, loaded it into a truck, and transported the barrel to the property in Edinburgh. There, the suspects allegedly used an excavator to dig a hole and bury the barrel containing Hernandez de Leon's remains. This is all so nefarious. Now, investigators reportedly said that they had searched Grijalva's cell phone and obtained video footage showing Gomez helping him use the excavator to bury the barrel. A fifth suspect, Alejandro Canto, age 28, was also arrested in connection with the murder. Detectives say that they learned that Cantu picked up the excavator used to bury Hernandez de Leon from the Edinburgh property, and that Cantu knew the body was inside the barrel. He is charged with one count of tampering with physical evidence with intent to impair a human corpse. He is currently being held on a cash surety bond of $1 million. Wow. These people are something else. This is all so crazy. Authorities emphasize that the investigation into Hernandez de Leon's murder remains ongoing and are urging anyone with information relevant to the case to contact authorities at 956-383-8114. I mean, just straight up devils. Straight up devils. So they all jumped this man, beat him with a hammer until he was dead, and then put his body in a barrel and buried it. And likely would never have gotten found out had someone not reported it. Okay? This is all so crazy. Now, with that all being said, support the artist. Did you say million or billion? I said million, beloved, a million. Okay? So anyway, I want you all to hear this other story. I'm going to let you all listen to the audio. Now, and I just want you all to pay attention to how the legal system works in favor of people who have the complexion for the protection. Because this lady is a whole murderer. Okay, so they reduced her crime from murder to manslaughter. And now the most that she'll likely get is 3 years for taking someone's life. Let's get into it. I'm going to put an overlay on the screen, and we're going to listen to this. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Now, the one in the blue is the victim. Okay, that's the one who lost her life. Condolences to her family, friends, and loved ones. And the other thug is the one who took her life. Please pay attention. Now, I'm not going to play this entire thing, but you'll hear the judge talking to her about the consequences of her actions, what she could possibly be sentenced to, and all of that.
I was admitting that was going to be admitted as evidence, which certainly would not be helpful for your case, but because it involves, number one, prior threats, and two, a knife slicing, I believe is what it said. So, again, I just want to point that out that, you got a good lawyer. He knows what he's doing. So that would have been admitted. All right. You want to outline the plea, please?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. It's the state's understanding that we have a change in plea this afternoon. Ms. Berrezzini is currently before the court on one count of felony 1, voluntary manslaughter in violation of 2903.03. This morning, the state had dismissed what were previously 2 murder counts on the indictment in anticipation of a trial that this court's aware of. Your Honor, it's the state's understanding at this time that Ms. Berrezzini now wishes to plead guilty to the stipulated lesser included offense as to count 1, involuntary manslaughter, which is a felony of the 3rd degree, and violation of revised code section 2903.04. Your Honor, with that guilty plea would carry with it a maximum potential penalty of 36 months at ODRC, up to a $10,000 fine. The parties have a request that the court order a pre-sentence investigation in this matter. That's the state's understanding of what we're doing this morning, or this afternoon, Judge.
Stand up for me, please. I have in the computer a 3-page entry of guilty plea form. The document looks like you signed it and your lawyer signed it. Did you sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. In signing it, you're telling me you want to admit to a felony 3 crime called involuntary manslaughter. When you plead guilty, it is a complete admission you're guilty. You're going to be convicted today, and you're going to be sentenced on July the 11th. It'll be on your record. It's a non-expungable offense. It carries up to 3 years in prison and a fine of up to $10,000. Do you understand the nature?
Now, isn't that something? Now, she took this lovely young lady's life, took her off of the map, and the most that this deviled out thug can get is 3 years and a fine of $10,000. And trust me, she will not have to pay that fine. Please pay attention.
Charge to which you're pleading guilty and what the maximum penalties are.
Yes, Your Honor.
Also, when you plead guilty, you waive or give up constitutional rights. By pleading guilty, you waive the right to have the prosecutor over here prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt to a jury of 12 that we've already seen in the courtroom because they started voir dire. You'd be presumed innocent. They'd have to prove all the elements beyond a reasonable doubt. You'd have the right to remain silent, not testify against yourself, the right to see the witnesses in open court, the right to have your lawyer cross-examine or question the witnesses. I would issue court orders or subpoenas forcing people to come to court, and you could appeal if you lost your case. These are the constitutional rights everyone accused of a crime has. You're now pleading guilty or admitting that you committed this crime. When you plead guilty, you waive or give up constitutional rights. You understand each and every right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you waiving those rights, and are you pleading guilty knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, there were discussions with me in the back with regard to this case. Prosecution's going to push for prison. Your lawyer is asking for probation. I indicated I would likely send you to prison with the ability maybe to get out early. Is that your understanding of the discussions?
With the ability to get out early. She already only has 3 years. And I want you to pay attention because getting out early would likely entail serving only about 18 months rather than 36. That's usually how that works. Please pay attention.
Sure.
All right. But I made no commitment. I get to review the pre-sentence investigation. I'm going to do that. I'll listen to both sides. But I'm inclined to do what I've told you, and you understand that.
Yes, sure.
All right. Next thing I have to explain is called post-release control. If you do go to prison, You get out of prison, if you serve the entire sentence and don't get out early, you're still going to be supervised for a 1 to 3 year period. It's called post-release control. It's done by the Adult Parole Authority. They give you an officer. So let's say you got the max. You ended up doing the max either because I gave it to you or you have a bad prison record and don't get it.
Just listen to how nice and polite and respectfully the judge is speaking to her. I've never heard a judge speak to a person of my skin tone who was charged with the same thing in that sort of tone.
You're still going to be supervised for 1 to 3 years. If you violate their rules, you could do another 1.5 years. You could do 4.5 total years if everything went wrong for you. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any questions for me about anything that we've gone over? Because if you do, now is the time to ask me.
No, Your Honor.
Are you pleading guilty to this crime I've outlined for you because you did, in fact, commit that crime?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, have a seat. Thank you. Statement of facts.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. The state contends on or about March 26th of 2023 at approximately 11:48 p.m., the Columbus Police Department responded to 5691 Emporium Square on the report of a stabbing. Emporium Square is located in the city of Columbus, County of Franklin, state of Ohio. Upon arrival, officers made contact with the victim, identified as Halia Culbertson, suffering from a stab wound. Ms. Culbertson was transported to Riverside Methodist Hospital by the Columbus Fire Department and was later pronounced deceased at 12:24 a.m. on March 27th of 2023. The Columbus Police Department conducted an investigation in this case, and their investigation revealed the following facts. On or about March 26, Halia Culbertson, Dalen Barrage, Xander Calgill, and Mackenzie Adrian went to Emporium Square. It's the 161 smoke shop business that was located there to buy some items from that smoke shop. During the time that Ms. Culbertson and her friends were at that smoke shop, Your Honor, Iyad Ahmed and Ms. Brianna Barazini, the defendant of this action, walked into that smoke shop. There was an ongoing feud between Halia Culbertson and Brianna Barazini. An argument ensued where Halia began yelling at Ms. Barazini inside that smoke shop. Ms. Culbertson was asked with her friends to leave the smoke shop. Ms. Culbertson challenged Ms. Barzini to a fight inside that smoke shop, and Ms. Culbertson went outside and waited for Ms. Barzini to go outside. Eventually, Ms. Barzini went outside. A verbal altercation ensued between the two. There was a video recording that Dalen Barrage made of the video, which essentially captures Ms. Barazini and Ms. Culbertson yelling at each other, Mr. Ahmed in between the two of them, trying to break it up, and Mr. Barrage threatens Mr. Ahmed, saying, "Stay away from them, let them fight." At some point in that altercation, Ms. Culbertson slaps Ms. Barazini. Ms. Barazini then takes a knife that she had at the side of her person, brandishes that knife to Ms. Culbertson, and stabs her once in the neck.
Low down and dirty.
A physical altercation ensues for a brief period after Ms. Culbertson was stabbed, and then the altercation ends. Ms. Culbertson then is receives medical attention and is later on pronounced deceased. Ms. Barazini goes home to her house at Pine Oak in the city of Westerville, where the Columbus Police Department eventually finds her clothing in the washing machine, the knife hidden in the crawl space with her shoes, and that she had taken a shower. That entire incident happened in Franklin County, state of Ohio.
All right. The court does find you guilty based on those statement of facts. I find you knowingly, intelligently, voluntarily waived all your rights. Any other requests from the state?
Your Honor, at this time, the state would ask that Ms. Barazini's bond be modified and place her on a GPS monitoring device. She's pled guilty.
So they don't even want this witch to sit in jail. They want her to get a GPS, but let me continue.
I'd like everybody to stay in.
Her clothing in the washing machine, the knife hidden in the crawl space with her shoes, and then she had taken a shower. That entire incident happened in Franklin County, state of Ohio.
All right. The court does find you guilty based on those statement of facts. I find you knowingly, intelligently, voluntarily waived all your rights. Any other requests from the state?
Your Honor, at this time, the state would ask that Ms. Berrezzini's bond be modified and placed her on a GPS monitoring device. She's pled guilty to a serious felony. We would have concerns for a flight risk. I know that she's made all appropriate appearances at court, but I think given the nature of the charge, that'd be appropriate.
Your position?
Your Honor, thank you. Not only has she appeared in court, every time requested, she's appeared in my office with her entire family every single time I've asked. She's been absolutely reasonable. She's not violated any of the terms of her bond. I would say at this point, there's no reason to change the conditions of her bond. Thank you.
All right. I'm not going to change the conditions of bond, but what I will tell you, and I'll tell you folks over here, if she doesn't show up or does anything stupid while she's out, she'll get the max and not get out. Period. I'm going to give you the max. You show up, behave yourself, have a decent pre-sentence investigation, I'm likely to do what has been said. Again, I'm going to listen to both sides. In my 14 and a half years here, we've caught everybody that ever took off except for one. So, and they get maxed when they get caught. So the bottom line is you need to show up. You've pled guilty. Make sure you're here. You don't show up, they will catch you. It always happens, and you'll get the max from me. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Anything else from either side?
Nothing from the state, thank you, Judge.
All right, we'll see you back on July the 11th.
Full of crap. Okay, that's all a load of BS. I want you to pay attention, and then the judge is going to try to talk tough at the end. If you don't show up, you will get the max. First of all, why wouldn't she show up? You simply gave her a slap on the wrist. Okay, she knows that she's going to be sentenced soon, and that the most that she can get is 3 years and a $10,000 fine, mind you. So who's going to run from that? Who's going to run from that? It would clearly be much more trouble to go on the run and then just to serve 3 measly years in prison after you took someone's whole life by stabbing them in the throat, in the neck, because you were losing a fight. That's what that was. That's what that was. Now, I can scarcely imagine what type of sentence they would have given someone of my skin tone for the same offense. Yeah. This is all crazy. Queen Sam said, so she and Trump will be sentenced on the same day. Walter said, so who snitched though? I don't know, but somebody had it on a recording. They recorded the incident. Okay, they recorded the incident. At the end of the day, I'm sure there was many people that saw it. So it's no telling who. At the end of the day, they all were at this, forget where they were, at a party or whatever, but they went outside. So I'm sure many people followed them out there to watch the fight. Y'all know how people do. You all know how people do. Whoever snitched, shout out to them. Okay? Shout out to them. But anyway, with that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. Oh, no. Hold on. I want you all to see this video. Okay, so there's a video. Let me make sure there's no music. Hold on. Okay, so this woman threw a party for her son. I don't know his age, but she's very upset because no one, neither friends nor family, bothered to show up. Buckhorse DC said, Queen, is that cross color? It sure looked good. Honey, this is not cross color. Sit down, okay? Cross color didn't make blouses. This is a whole blouse. Cross color made t-shirts, right? And jackets, vests. Buckhorse DC, I don't have time for your nonsense, but let me continue. Like, sub, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Here we go.
I swear to God, though, don't nothing hurt my motherfucking feelings more than some shit like this. So it's just me and my baby, but my feelings is so hurt right now. Thank you.
You do actually get a large pizza for the roll.
Pepperoni. I can't even sit here and act like my feelings ain't hurt. My feelings is hurt though. Like, to have a whole fucking party, to have a whole table, and it's just me and my baby. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, but my feelings is hurt. I can't even hide my emotions right now. Like, I'm not even supposed to be like that, but to be sitting in a place full of people and knowing that it's only you and your baby, man, I swear to God, on my dead mama and my daddy, a bitch can kiss my ass. A bitch better not never in their life hit my motherfucking phone. A bitch better not ever in their life ask me for no motherfucking advice. A bitch better not ever in their motherfucking life ever talk to me.
Well, y'all heard what she said, honey. Yikes, better not ever. Here's the thing. I have questions. Why did no one show up? Why did no one show up? I just have questions. Okay, I'm sad for the child too, Witty T. Absolutely. But I wonder why no one showed up. And I'm sure it had nothing to do with the child. What kind of person is she? Did she tick people off? I don't know. But I have questions. And here's the thing. When you have a party like that and you're spending your money, it would behoove you to RSVP. Okay? To have people RSVP so you know or pretty much have an idea of who's coming. Had she done so, then, she likely... Bungani said maybe the child is a devil. I think it's actually her. But, she should have had them RSVP, so she'd have had a roundabout idea estimation of likely how many people were going to come. And if nobody was going to come, she'd have known that. So I'm quite sure it's embarrassing. But, honey, let me tell you something. Sitting there crying, that's what I wouldn't do. You see, if you're sitting there crying, then the child who's already probably feeling sad or whatever because nobody showed up, I would just turn it into something, positive. I would just be focused on making the child happy. If I did want to cry, I'd do it when I got home and was in my room by myself. I wouldn't cry in front of the child because that's just going to make them have a bad birthday, a sad birthday. So anyway, so sad. With that all being said, everyone please like and share. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all. Hold on, beloveds. Let me see if this is what I think it is. I want you all to see this. Hold on. Now, I thought this was hilarious. Hold on. Let me pull both of these up. Now, these are just some brief clips, but I want you all to see this because they say that the Chinese, that America's math team, I want you all to pay attention. They said Samuel Muhammad said playing the violins. I know that's right. Listen, they said that America's math team beat the Chinese. Now that's very interesting because we know how good the Chinese are at math. But so let's see who the Americans were that actually beat them in fact. Everyone please like and share. Hold on, let me make sure I'm sharing the right one. It's all crazy. Okay, because I have two. Here we go. That's them right there. Can y'all see that? Y'all see that? Now, those are the Americans who beat the Chinese math team. All of those people are Chinese, too. All of those people are Chinese, too. So they could get no regular Americans were smart enough, clearly. Not at least on that team. So basically, it was other Chinese people who beat them. But here's the thing that I find interesting. You see, the same thing happened with the World Cup over in France. Here's the winners. It's when the French won the World Cup. So the French won the World Cup, but all the people on the team were black. This is all crazy. I just want y'all to pay attention. I thought that was hilarious. Okay, Queen KJ said she's hollering. Or Locked Queen says she is hollering. I am too, because that was absolutely crazy. All right, all y'all laughing. Okay, make it all make sense. Okay, and so that all being said, everyone please like and share this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click the notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dr._A_Shakur, TikTok at Dr.A_Shakur, and Twitter at DGoddess27. We will be live on the spiritual channel tomorrow. And also, don't forget to tune in tomorrow morning for your morning wake-up call. All right? Till next time, beloveds, I'll talk to you all again soon.
Hit 'em with that flavor. All in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got